And Drew was rocking out to that Motor Sister. That's good stuff, right, man?
Metal gets me hard, bro.
This is, I want to talk to, when Pearl's on the line, we'll talk to her about that, because they have a couple albums out, and this is their second one. And well, you know what? We won't give it away now. If she's on the line, she is on the line. Okay, so let's get to it, and we'll get down to business here. My first guest is a badass rock and roll singer and mama, and label mate of mine. Motor Sister is on the great Metal Blade record and tapes record label there. And May 6th, the new album Get Off comes out. And please welcome to That Jamieson Show, Pearl Aday. And and a special guest surprise.
Look who's here.
Scotty boy.
Just don't pay me no mind. Pay no attention.
Pay no mind. Pay no mind to the man on the right there, drinking his Anthrax whiskey, no doubt. Which
that's hard to get. That shit's too rare.
I seem to remember that we were promised a bottle of that. Me, Jim, and Eddie for doing your webcast over the summer. Maybe it got lost in the mail. I don't know.
I'll make a call.
Great to see you guys both, of course.
You too, man.
Yeah, and you've both been busy with this, and Scott with Anthrax, of course, still making new music. But we'll talk about Motor Sister, and my control room here was going crazy while the song was playing, and I had to bust out Ride from 2015, and while that album is heavy, this album it has a certain extra edge to it. I mean, is that just sort of what happened when you all got in the room together, or did you say, hey, let's kind of take it up a notch here?
We have to thank ourselves for the radness, but Jim Wilson came to us with pretty much the ideas for most of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe that excitement you're hearing is because these are all totally original to us, the first record was so exciting to make, and it was a passion project because we loved that music so much from Mother Superior. But this is totally from our guts.
Yeah.
So it might be, that's maybe what you're hearing. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe just a Scott, stuck in the mixing room after hours and just maybe cranked his guitar up a little bit higher when Jay Rustin was taking a break.
Well, I also think because, we never get to do this in the 7 years since Ride came out. We've played a handful of shows. We get to write a record as this band. And I've talked about Motor Sister more in the last week and a half than we have in 7 years. So I'm kind of learning about this record even myself the more I talk about it. And I also think the fact that we were in the room, we were at 606, and getting to be in a room together and know that we're here recording these songs that's taken years to come to fruition. And we're such close friends, all of us. I think all of that excitement really comes out in these songs and in the tracks and in the recording because, we all see each other socially. Pearl and I are always hanging out with Joey and Tracy Vera. Mm-hmm. We see Jim all the time. We see Johnny all the time. But to get the five of us together in a room to make music, that's the hard part because, schedules are what they are. So the fact that we were in the room making this record, all that excitement, I think, is coming out in the tracks.
Yeah, I agree. And, it says it, I don't like to even read down, the press release and kind of pick stuff from that. I'd just rather have a normal conversation. But, Joey pretty much said it this is we just wanted to put together, a no frills, hard rock, kick ass, hard rock and roll record, no, all killer, no filler. And, really that is the best description of it. I mean, it's heavy. It's got lots of different levels to it. It's got a little something for everybody. And, certainly the dynamic between, Pearl's voice and Jim's voice, which I want to talk more about, just really kind of makes it a lot more unique because I can't think of another mainstream band anyway that has done that with two lead singers, one male, one female. I don't know if you guys know of any.
No.
Who were we listening to the other? Oh, Rossington Collins.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they do songs with a male and a female voice?
Yeah, that one song came on. Don't misunderstand me. I realize
We just heard it the other day. That's why it's
take.
on my brain.
Right, but
But
they were not known as a band that was the construction of the band. He may have done a duet with somebody, but this band is constructed that way. So let's just rewind a tiny bit. So Studio 606, which Scott mentioned, is Dave Grohl's studio, and I was reading about the you got to record on the Sound City Neve. I don't know all the technical, the control panel there. The what is it called?
Yeah, the board.
The board, which really, and a guy who's doesn't know a lot of the technical stuff about the business. I know how historic that board is. I saw the documentary about Sound City, so that must have been something special as well.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You go in the big room and we play live, and then you come back in to listen back, and you sit down in front of that Sound City Neve, and you're listening to the sounds that you just made come through that board, and you look over here and it's got Stevie Nicks' signature on it and Joan Jett's signature. It's like it's pretty wild. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And there's something to be said, not even for the fact that it came from Sound City, but just those old consoles, they all sound great. And the fact that this one has the history that it has, you hear it. You really do hear it. I've worked on a load of stuff in that room over the last couple of years, from Motor Sister to Mr. Bungle. Even our son's band, HoneyBee, recorded there. And it's not a fluke. Everything sounds great coming through that console. It's not like it's fixing mistakes. Let's not, but at the same time, it really, there's a tone to that board that, there's a reason why it is what it is. It just sounds great. It's a great piece of gear.
Yeah, and both of you, obviously, I mean, having played out live in so many different venues all over the world, there's something to that too, right? Isn't there something about the grease on the floor and the dust on the walls and the people have recorded, previous to that, and the grease from the guy's fingers, all that stuff is mixed in with the sound. I think when you try to update stuff like that, it sterilizes everything.
100%.
No, absolutely. All the vibrations that have passed through it in the past, it's history come to life. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I try to perform in places where they have really good comedians, because I hope some of that will rub off onto the audience. Maybe something out of the walls, a punchline will come out that'll, help me out. I
thought the same thing when we went to Steve Vai's house for dinner. I was like, maybe something will rub off on me here.
Some of our humor, which is one of the most ridiculous things ever, is having a record deal from Steve Vai for comedy. But Scott, I had to mention, because you brought it up, which is the Mr. Bungle cover of "Loss of Control," which I've lost my mind about, not only on this show but on social media and that is so freaking perfect. The response must have been unbelievable for that.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, Mike, look, I don't need to blow Mike Patton's horn. You know what I mean? It's everybody's aware of his talent, I would assume, but God damn it. I mean, he is channeling something when we do that song. You close your eyes and it's rough. It's crazy. And when we were doing that live stream, I was really nervous. Look, I'm a bit of a caveman rhythm guitar player. And now all of a sudden, I'm challenged with, I got to play some Eddie parts. But, that song is probably the most metal song in Van Halen's catalog. That's kind of right in my wheelhouse, and it's up tempo and all that, and Lombardo just crushes it, and I still can't believe it. I listen to it all the time. I can't believe I'm a part of that. It's so good.
It really, with all the streaming stuff and all that stuff that happened during the pandemic, and I watched a lot of it, it helped me as much as it did anybody else. But that, to me, that was the shining star of the whole time. So, yeah, I mean, amazing job on that. But hey, Scott, man, you've always worn your influences on your sleeve. And, and I feel like I hear some of them on this album. To me, I hear some Kiss, I hear some Thin Lizzy, I hear some AC/DC in there. But maybe I suspect that that's kind of for the whole band as well, who likes all those bands.
Yeah, we are all 70s rock. All of us. That I started playing guitar in 73, right? All of my formative years playing guitar are 70s rock bands. The term heavy metal didn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
So getting to play in Motor Sister in this, because essentially we're a 70s band that doesn't necessarily exactly sound like any 70s band. We're not one of these bands that's like, oh, well, yeah, they just sound like a shitty Led Zeppelin cover band, or they sound like a lesser version of AC/DC, or, we sound like a 70s band without sounding like anything specific. And that's the magic of Jim Wilson. So getting to play this for me, it's how I learned how to play guitar. It wasn't until 79, 80 that when Priest came around, and then Maiden and Motorhead, and that's when things started to change. Things started to speed up and all that. But all my formative years, I'm playing AC/DC and Thin Lizzy and the Ramones and Kiss and Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin and Free and Bad Company. And that's what Motor Sister is. It's all of that.
Yeah. 1973, I think that's when Eddie Trunk started his first radio show. Right? Wasn't that 70? He's been in the business for 57 years now, I think he says, on the radio, something like that. Well, let me talk.
But Pearl should answer that too, because it's very much, a question for you as well.
No, exactly everything what you said. I mean, no, it's true. That's just what comes out of all of us.
Yeah, I mean, Scott has AC/DC tattoos on him, so but I, again, like I said, I suspected it's a common thread throughout the entire band, and I also I know the other people in the band as well, but mentioning Jim Wilson and you kind of being maybe the unsung hero in a way of this band, but I wanted to ask you about your dynamic with him as far as, again, having the two lead singers, and then in terms of recording. How does that work for you guys? You said you record live, but how do you figure out, what's your method to intertwining the vocals?
Intertwine. I mean, we just love to sing together. And when we go we determine who's singing what before we go in.
Okay, because some people will record, both singers will record everything, and then in the mix is where they kind of determine like where people will come in and they'll bring people up and stuff. But you guys already have it kind of storyboarded.
Yeah. No, we know what we're going to sing before we go in. The one thing that we do like to do is, as much as we can, we like to get into the booth together and sing harmonies live together, which is really fun. I just love. Our voices mesh so well together.
Agreed.
And I love singing with Jim. Jim's voice is one of my most favorite of all time. So, the fact that I get to sing with him is a privilege to me. And the fact that he loves to sing with me is amazing. And so we like to get in, he'll get in there and do his thing, and then I'll do my thing if it's solo bits. But if it's harmony and we're singing together, as much as we can, as it makes sense for the production, we like to get in the booth together and sing on the same mic.
Right. But that must drive poor Jay Rustin crazy, because I'm sure he wants everything separate tracks, separate everything.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Jay is all for it live. We'll do it live. He just likes to do it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, and obviously he's a friend of ours, but he really I used to say he quietly became the go-to guy in hard rock and metal, but it's not quite anymore. Everybody loves using him. And then that's cool that he obviously embraces this style of recording as opposed to maybe he would do something differently with Anthrax. You know, I'm sure that every band's a little bit different in their style of recording.
Well, I think that Jay is just really into supporting the artist in the way that makes them feel most comfortable and what's going to get the best performance out of them.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Jay's the man. Jay's the man. He's the angriest Canadian.
Right. Well, we're lucky to have him, in other words, because the Canadians are so nice. We need an angry one once in a while who gets, the rage in what we do, right? And in particular, also dealing with artists. Now, we talked at the top of the show about all you guys also being friends and social together. But let's face it, a super group, which I know a lot of people don't like that term, but let's face it, everybody in Motor Sister is an accomplished musician in our genre and, has achieved lots of things over the years. But it is a super group. And, you have John Tempesta, you have Joey Vera, you have Pearl and Jim, and, of course, Scott, with Anthrax all these years. It doesn't always work. What do you think it is about this band that makes it work besides the friendship?
Well, I think it all goes back to we love Jim's songwriting.
Okay.
This whole thing was born out of his group, Mother Superior, because, for my 50th, we threw a party, we put the band together, made a set list of our favorite Mother Superior songs, all based on the fact that Mother Superior had been gone for years, and we missed hearing these songs. And everyone in this band were huge fans of Jim's and Mother Superior's, and the people we invited to our house to watch us play it that night at my birthday party were all fans of Mother Superior. And it all comes out of the love of Jim Wilson's ability to write a rock song. And we have such love and respect for what he does. And in 2018, when he started sending riffs that he recorded saying, I think I got some cool ideas for a new Motor Sister. And he started sending riffs and we were like, holy fuck, yes. This is the best. And then, then we were able to, when schedules allowed, we would get in the rehearsal room and start, arranging them and jamming them. And it's just so much fun to turn around and look at your bro and just go, oh my God, we're getting to do this again. It's such a rare thing, just the way this whole thing was born and what it is and how it works. And, we're just getting to carry the torch and hopefully just expose Jim's ability as a rock god to the rest of the world. People, so many people don't even know that they know Jim Wilson, but they do because Jim also plays with Daniel Lanois, and Daniel and Jim did all the music for the last Red Dead Redemption video game, which of course has sold 50 million copies around the world. And I tell people that I'm like, all that music you hear when you're playing that crazy game, you're hearing Jim that whole time. It's nuts.
And the Rollins band.
Yeah, and of course he was in Rollins band for years and all that. But man, if you've never heard Mother Superior, go check them out. If you never heard our album Ride, and of course the new record coming, Get Off, please check it out, because if you love rock music, then this to me is as good as it gets.
Scott, I agree with that 100%. I love the record. It comes out May 6th on Metal Blade, and the songwriting obviously it gives you as the primary songwriter in Anthrax. This gives you at least a little bit of a breather, right? All the weight's not on your shoulders.
Yeah, I have just musically, I have co-writes on, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, and I know Pearl wrote a bunch of lyrics on the record too, which is the fact that I don't have to write a word. I'm on vacation. Yeah. I just get to rock big chords all day long.
Now let's talk about the dynamic of having a spouse in the band. Best thing, worst thing. Go ahead.
Best thing is all the things.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And Yeah, I don't think there is a worst thing.
No.
We work really well together. We both come from the same world. We've been on tour our whole lives, and I don't know, it just works. We just get it.
Yeah, we've been together 22 years as a couple, so being in a band together is very easy, I guess, compared to, if you're like, all I know is when we get to play shows, I get to look at stage right and I see her losing her fucking mind on the other side of the stage. And that's just the most inspiring thing in the world for me, is to see her banging her head and bruising her body with her tambourine and singing her ass off. It's just, it just pushes me even harder.
I gotta say, I'm really blown away, Pearl, that you record the vocals the way that you do. I'm just super impressed by that you guys kind of know where your voices are going to fit. Like I said, a lot of people just record everything and then figure it out later. That's a really interesting way to do it, and you would never know. I mean, it does. It just sounds so perfect together. Let's put up the poster. We have a record release party coming up for people in Los Angeles, and that's May 15th at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yes. So fun.
So get out to that and, listen to some of obviously you're going to hear a bunch of the new tunes. And if you haven't checked out their first album, it's called Ride. Obviously be playing a bunch of that stuff. And the Whiskey always an amazing place to go see a show. A lot of history there as well.
It's great playing in that room. And, and what we do belongs in that room. Well, it belong in the forum too, if we could, but
yeah, right. Well.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel the weight of that room in a good way when we play it. Especially when you think back to whether you can go way back to like Otis Redding live at the Whiskey or Guns N' Roses in their heyday, even before anyone knew about them, or it's always awesome to play that stage. And I've actually, before I forget it, because you definitely want the clickbait, but I've gone on record and I've said it many times to myself. This is the best rock record.
Racket?
Suddenly I'm back.
You're back in Brooklyn, again. Bro.
This is the best rock record since Appetite. For me, best rock record since Appetite. Change my mind.
I love it. Hey, Scott, listen, man. I had Rick and Dax on the show, and I said not for this Another World album, but the one before it, We're All Right, and I said to me that's the best Cheap Trick album of all time. I know, yes, we love all the old albums, but I believe that. So I'm never taken aback by when somebody thinks a modern album is one of the best out there. There's a lot of cats still putting out great albums after all these years. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, man.
I agree. Yeah, I am with you on that, and I love that Cheap Trick record.
I do too, and your band Anthrax is the one that now people have been saying for now well over a decade they'll never top the last one, and I'm the one guy who came out and said they'll top it. Don't worry about it. These guys know what they're doing, and you always have. So it's just. It doesn't matter if people think it's better or worse or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that we're still seeing these bands that we love put out great music. And now, of course, Motor Sister with their second album. And yeah, it really is. If you love just, loud, aggressive rock and roll, and that has a little bit of a twist to it, man, check it out. It's killer from top to bottom. Really is.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah. So
may I say, Don?
Of course.
You look lovely.
Yeah.
It's so great to see you. You came right on the screen. You popped up, and Scott goes, "He looks exactly the same."
Like he's not age.
a lot of steroids and Botox, Scott. I don't like to admit it, but no, I guess rock and roll and comedy keep you young in a way. And listen, a lot of things could have went south during the pandemic, as far as a lot of people didn't take care of themselves and all that. And after about 6 weeks of drinking wine to go to bed, I said, I think I'm gonna maybe pull back a little bit so that when and if there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not a complete wreck when I get out of this.
Exactly.
What are some of the things other than drinking that you guys did during the pandemic to just sort of get through it?
Yeah, I mean that was us too. Those first 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, you were on it. We were doing those happy hours online, and which were great. And all the people who would come on and do that with us, told us it was helping them get through on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
I mean, booze delivery was quicker than groceries delivery.
Yeah.
So it was,
Yeah, those first 2 months,
Convenient.
the booze intake definitely ramped up in a big way, which was a load of fun. But we were the same way. And then, we're like, we should probably taper off. We were cooking a lot. I mean, I'm talking like 7 nights a week.
lentil soup.
Cooking.
You bought like a 50-pound bag of lentil beans.
Yeah, on Amazon, thinking like, whoa, who knows how long this is. Like, I'm thinking zombie apocalypse.
Right. Yeah.
So,
If I can't find toilet paper, at least I got lentils.
Right. So yeah, we were cooking a lot and eating like maniacs, and then that tapered off, and then we realized, what, we should probably, maybe try and use some of this time, in a good way, creatively, and hike and play music, and then all that started happening too, and I know it's a crazy thing to say because it's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing that has happened to this planet. But, you look for silver linings, and for us, there were many, one of which was just getting to be together as a family for 2 years without having to go anywhere. For me, I that's something I could never have done ever. We never would have electively taken 2 years off. You can't do it. And I think for every band, that's going to be great. I think creatively and mentally for every band on the planet, the fact that everyone had to stop and just kind of shut down for, however long it was for them. I think creatively it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, and for people who are watching, who maybe don't realize that, I probably should have said this much earlier since we're about to wrap up. But Scott and Pearl are married, and they have a son who, speaking of spending family time, who is apparently musically inclined. Scott, I've been enjoying the videos of you and your son jamming on some cool stuff.
So good.
Yeah.
Another silver lining, Rebel has a band called HoneyBee, and it's Rebel, and
There he
it's
is.
a 3-piece. Rebel's on drums, and they have guitar and bass. And here, squeeze in.
Here he is.
Hey, Revel.
I
haven't seen him since the pool at that casino that we played up in Sacramento, I don't think. But I've seen him on the videos with Dad there, and it's sounding really good. You're a talented kid.
Thanks.
Yeah, these guys just recorded their
Look at this.
album at
Look at
6 and 6 also. They're called HoneyBee, and they have an album coming out in May.
Well, actually,
too,
the first single will be out on all streaming platforms April 22nd. Yeah.
Look at this. So when you go to pre-order the Motor Sister album, you could also look up HoneyBee and see when that's available for pre-order. And then I'll have Revel back on my show to promote it without Mom and Dad. He can just come on by himself.
Yes.
Yes, they're on Instagram. It's honey.b music.
Yeah.
Honey.b music.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's Revel, who's 10 years old, and his two buddies, Liam and Theo, who are both 16.
So Revel, how did you come up with the name HoneyBee?
I don't know. Just a list of names I wrote down.
Wait, so did you guys come up with you all wrote down a bunch of names, and then because when we did that metal show, everyone wrote down a bunch of names, and the ones we all hated was that metal show. So, but we got overruled. Was HoneyBee one of the ones that you suggested, or was that somebody else?
Well, I just wrote down a big list of names that I was just thinking of because we didn't have a name yet, and that was one of them.
Okay, so one of the ones that was in the mix made it, and and we'll hear what's going on with the band very shortly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. Well, good. Well, good luck to you there, and you got a pretty good couple pretty good musical influences right there in your own house, which has probably helped you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helps me when we're figuring out these songs that we're gonna jam on, and I'll go and start learning stuff, and he already knows it on guitar too, so he'll tell me, no, it goes like this.
Yeah.
And, wow, you're making my life easy.
That's it. Now, well, hopefully you won't wait another 7 years to do another Motor Sister album, but I suspect maybe on the next one we might have a special guest drummer on the next Motor Sister. What do you think?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Motor Sister song?
Right there, just like that.
Nice.
Which one? Which one did he say?
I said right there, just like that.
Oh, yeah. Great song. Absolutely. Well, cool. Look at this, the musical family, and appreciate you guys spending time. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, condolences for Grandpa Meatloaf there. We're all thinking of him, and we love him, and we appreciate all you guys, and thanks for being here today. May 6th is Motor Sister Get Off is the album. And then, of course, Scott, we'll probably see a few things in the news about the new Anthrax, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, you can top the last album.
Yeah, we're writing songs right now, cool. And I will say it absolutely. It already crushes Kings. It's crazy.
There you go. So Motor Sister, Anthrax, HoneyBee, the musical Ian Aday family. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you. Good to see you again.
Wow.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks for having us.
Be well, everybody. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Don. Thank you for watching that clip. Here's some more I think you're going to enjoy. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.